When I'm Greg Srivastava with Deepest Dream. Pleasure to meet you both.
Pleasure to
Great.
meet.
Nice to meet you too.
So growing up, I was not able to actually watch a lot of series where prayer and living in the faith in modern day was prevalent, and I'm just so happy that series like the Baxters exist. Can you both of you speak to the fact that maybe that's maybe a driving force why both of you wanted to collaborate on this project, possibly?
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Um, well, if I may start, I came to the Baxter series as a book fan. A friend had given me a copy of the first book, Redemption, written by the amazing Karen Kingsbury, and I just couldn't put the book down. I fell in love with the story. I fell in love with the characters. I thought this needs to be a television show, and I called up Karen. I didn't know her, but I called her up and boldly asked if she would consider allowing me to have the option of her books, and she shared with me a great conversation she'd had with her father. Karen, if you'd like to jump in here.
Yeah, so back in the beginning, when I wrote the first book, Redemption, about the Baxters, my dad was my greatest fan, and he's since gone on to heaven. But he read it and he was just wiping tears and just smiling so big. And he said, Karen, this book, everyone is going to know you're writing. Like this one, everyone's going to know the Baxters. But you know what? It needs to be a TV show because it's like a hope opera. And I think you should call that Roma Downey woman, the one who's in Touched by an Angel. She would love to make this into a TV show. And I said, Dad, I don't have her number.
So then when I called Greg, when I called Karen and she told me this, we just both felt like it was, a blessing, that it was like a God moment, that we were supposed to collaborate and bring this to the screen together. And I think that one of the reasons that Karen entrusted me with her beloved family series was that she knew I would remain true to the very thing that you've just asked us about, and which is the faith, their faith, and that we would be able to show that on a screen, because you don't often get to see a church going family, a God honoring family, a family that take a moment to stop and pray. And we see marriage and committed marriage modeled so well in the characters of John and Elizabeth Baxter. And, Karen knows her audience. Karen, is it 27 books now in the Baxter series that you have? And
Wow.
millions and millions and millions of fans already exist. So if we just bring the fans to the book, to the series on Amazon Prime, it'll be huge. But I anticipate that a lot more people that maybe didn't know the books will also come in and love this, fall in love with this family on television.
Along with being collaborators, both of you are natural writers, and wondering for both of you in your respective busy days, how do each of you find time to write, whether it's books or whatnot? Where does that time come from? Or am I asking a ridiculous question because both of you already make the time on a daily basis?
I know for me, I'm in a season right now where I'm more about, film. I have the Baxters coming out. I have a movie coming out on, in theaters on April 2nd. So I sort of took a little hiatus. I'm screenwriting more than I am book writing, but I'll get back to it because I have books in my heart. But when I'm doing, two novels a year, when I'm in those sorts of seasons, I have to pull away. And thankfully, God's given me the ability to write quickly so I can write a novel in about 2 weeks, and spend sort of the rest of the time around it working on the marketing and helping you to find out about it. What about you, Roma?
Yeah, well, I'm primarily these days a producer. So my time is taken up with a development of story, or in this case, marketing our wonderful Baxter's television series. But I think anything that you love to do, you find the time for it, don't you? If something lights you up and you feel you have purpose and intention. Our company, we called our company Light Workers, and we adopted the mantra that it was better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. And I always think of all my projects, whether it's books I've written, TV shows that I've produced, or TV shows that I've acted in, because for the first time in a long time, I've stepped back in front of the camera. I haven't been on a series television since Touched by an Angel, when I played the angel Monica, but I stepped in to play the role of Elizabeth Baxter because I just really love this woman. She's compassionate. She has empathy. She's strong. She's a prayer warrior. but she's also feisty on behalf of her children. She loves her children so ferociously. When she feels that anybody or anything is coming in to hurt them, she gets naturally defensive, as we would. Karen and I are both mothers. So I think we both understand that. Karen obviously has written this role, and I've taken it and interpreted for the screen. But I think that American audiences, we don't often get to see our values represented on the screen in this way. And this is not a preachy show in any way. This just because this family believe doesn't mean that they are immune to life's challenges. There are plenty of challenges that are going to be thrown at them, but it's how they deal with it, I think, that's unique to American TV shows. And anyway, we're thrilled that we've gotten the Easter time slot to launch. Easter's been very good to me with my past projects. The Bible last year, On a Wing and a Prayer with Dennis Quaid, launched at Easter. And so we're confident that families will enjoy curling up together with each other over the Easter holiday and watching the Baxters on Amazon Prime Video.
Final question. I've seen the first episode, and it tackles adultery. And it tackles adultery in a very nuanced way, because you're talking about living in the faith, using prayer, and also there are so many different sides to the subject. Can you guys speak to the fact that maybe this series will tackle so many subjects that we in the faith can actually talk about, discuss about, fight over, and whatnot? Is that an important element to the show?
It is. It was an important element to the book. So when I began writing about the Baxters, I wanted them to be a family people could relate to. And where I have been, in churches and have friends who are in church, just because they go to church does not mean that they have no problems. There's not always a guaranteed happy ending. The sick person doesn't always live. The person who's the wandering spouse doesn't always come back. But the truth is, with faith in Christ, there is hope. And that's what you see with the Baxters. And it's going to be maybe the first time we've seen a story, a TV series like what we're going to see when this releases on Amazon's Prime Video on March 28th. The world is going to get to step into what they will recognize as something like their family or families they know. And though the Baxters love deeply, they have deep secrets. And at the end of the day, they get through it all because of their faith.
Really love the series so far. Looking forward to more episodes, and continued success to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.